I found a paperclip in this library, and over the past 9 months, I've been trying to turn it into 10 grand. Here's how it went. Yo, before we hop into this video, I just want to announce that I just launched my new newsletter. It's called The Profit Museum. It's 100% free. I'll be sending it out one time a week. I'll be talking about all the different side hustles that I'm learning before the videos actually drop, sharing different marketing and content strategies that I'm using on the daily, and also reviewing different tech that I find really helpful as a creator entrepreneur. The Profit Museum. Go sign up at the link below. Yeah, let's get into this video. So when I started this challenge, I had no other option really but to hit up family and friends and ask them if they would trade me anything for my paperclip. I got a lot of no's and haha whys, but eventually someone told me they'd trade me this nightstand. It had a couple dings, but I took some nice pictures of it, listed on Facebook Marketplace for 20 bucks, and within a couple hours, I had a lot of people messaging me wanting to buy it. I definitely could have charged more. So now that I had 20 bucks, I went back to Facebook Marketplace and looked for another item to flip. I ended up finding this TI-84 calculator for 20 bucks. If you guys ever see these around, they are such an easy flip on eBay if you can get them for a good price. I didn't even have to negotiate on this one. They're worth like 40 bucks online, so I picked it up and within a couple days it sold for $35 plus shipping, which after fees brought my total up to 30 bucks. Okay, so not bad. I at least got the hard part out of the way and got past $0. After this, I did a quick flip on some board games and then headed to the thrift store. If you guys haven't done thrift store flipping before, you need to try it. It's probably one of the easiest side hustles to get into as a beginner. But on this visit, I ended up finding this Casio keyboard for $35, but it didn't come with a power cord, so I had no idea if it worked or not. I mean, at this point, I was like, we have 40 bucks. If we spend 35 and it doesn't work, then we're back down to 5. Like, what's the risk really? I bought the keyboard. I then found a power cord online for 5 bucks, so I'm gonna test it now. We're all in here, so if it doesn't work, we're back to 0. Plug this in. Boom, no risk, no reward, baby. So I took some pictures of the keyboard, listed it on Marketplace, and a couple days later it sold for $80. I then found some printer cartridges online for $100. Problem was I only had 80, so I offered 80. They said yes, and I picked them up that night. These go for over $100 each on eBay, so I felt really good about this one. Guys, brand name toner cartridges, if you see them, look them up. A lot of times there's big profit to be made there. But I photographed and I listed them on eBay, and I actually sold both of them together for 200 bucks. I negotiated with the buyer a little bit, and because I could save money on shipping by packaging them together, I decided to roll with it. After this, my total after fees and shipping was 160 bucks, and my next flip was one I'll never forget. I found this big BB-8 Star Wars robot listed locally. I knew nothing about these things, but apparently these were used in Target and Walmart as promo displays and are pretty rare. The guy only wanted 100 bucks for it. I thought that seemed reasonable because I looked them up on eBay, and on there, these go for over 400 pretty consistently. We kind of hit gold. So I hung out with my new robot friend for a while, but didn't get too attached. And then, you guessed it, I took pictures and listed it for sale on both eBay and Marketplace. While I waited for that to sell though, I had $60 burning a hole in my pocket. I knew we would do pretty well with the BB-8 robot display, so I decided to take a little risk. I bought these 4 lotus flower silver necklaces for $8 each. These weren't gonna sell themselves, so I came up with a plan. I printed out these little cards to go with each one that gives the meaning behind a lotus flower, photographed them, and then listed them on Facebook Marketplace and made a free e-com website. After that, I hit up some large Snapchat accounts with the remaining $25 I had and asked them if they'd promote my necklaces. One said yes, and with that ad, we did get a good amount of clicks, but our free website that we made didn't convert any buyers. So the necklaces I ended up just calling scrap or $6. I told myself if I fail 3 times in this challenge that I would end it, so that was fail number 1. Shortly after that though, my BB-8 robot sold for $350 locally.
You got a collector or something?
Yeah, my husband. Last year it was the big life-size Spider-Man that I had to pick up.
Oh boy.
Now that is wifey material. So now we were at 356 bucks, a long way from the paperclip that we started with, but I noticed as the flips got bigger, they also got more difficult. I found this Unify network switch on Craigslist for $400. I offered 3. He came back at $350 and we made a deal. That then sold on eBay for $500 plus shipping. I then came across this high-end scientific calculator for $75. I offered $50. He agreed, and then this sold for $120 on eBay super quickly. Guys, calculators, again, another flipping gold mine. After that, I had more luck again on Craigslist. Sometimes I feel like I get hot on Facebook, but other times it feels like Craigslist has the deals. Just depends on the day. But I found this photography light meter for sale. The guy was asking $400. I offered $3, and we agreed to $320. Before this challenge and really looking for unique items to flip, I didn't know these could be worth so much money. This same one I bought can go for over $600 on eBay. I wanted a quick flip though, so I ended up selling mine for $450. At this point, I was pretty close to 600 bucks, but if I was gonna get this done faster, I knew that I needed to try some other stuff alongside my flipping. I decided to go to the Nike outlet and look for some profitable shoes to sell online. I ended up finding these Ola Lus. I paid around $35 a pair, and at the time they were selling for over 75 bucks each on eBay, so I'd come close to doubling my money there. Now while I was waiting for those to sell, I tried to find something else to flip. I was having good luck with more niche electronics, so I kind of went that route, but man did this go south. Okay, so I landed on this Moxie Kids robot toy. The seller wanted $300. Unfortunately, this guy was not located in the same state as me, so I was gonna have to trust him to ship it. I checked his reviews, went to his profile, his girlfriend's profile. Everything looked good and not scammy at all. So I Venmo him the money, and he leads me on saying he's gonna ship it for several days. He even sends me photos of the UPS door multiple times, saying he didn't know they closed early or whatever. Point is, this goes on for a while, and then he ghosts me. Fortunately, my bank was able to help me out and I didn't lose my 300 bucks, but it did take up a lot of time. Good news is that all 3 pairs of Nikes that I bought sold, and this brought us pretty close to $700. I used 600 of that to buy this tailor-made golf set. At the time, summer was just kicking off, and I knew that people would be buying golf clubs. On eBay, this same set was selling for quite a bit, so I was hoping that this would get us pretty close to that $1,000 mark. I cleaned up all the clubs, took some nice pictures, and sold it for $950 plus shipping super fast. Though a pain to ship, my profit ended up being 240 bucks. After that, I found this really nice patio set for $1,200. Brand new, this thing was going for over 2,000 bucks, getting close to 3K with tax. I asked the seller if he'd do 900. He countered at 1,000. Little did he know that I didn't have 1,000, so I said I couldn't do it. Then he had to ask the boss, and fortunately he agreed to 900 bucks. So I picked it up the next day and got it listed for 2,000, and right away, since this was the beginning of summer, I started getting a lot of interest. A lot of lowballing, unfortunately, but one person came in at 1,500, and I said, yup. With over $1,000 now, I started looking at cars to flip, but really couldn't find anything worthwhile and running well at that price range, so I switched categories and ended up finding this guitar for sale. I offered $1,300, and we agreed on $1,350. I thought I got a good price on this, but when I brought it home, I realized something. Yeah, this guitar needed some work done. Nothing crazy, like it was in good shape, but it needed a basic setup and some new strings. I had to bring it to the shop and pay $50 for this, but worst of all, they needed to keep it for a few weeks, which meant I couldn't sell it. So yeah, lots of delays and issues along the way, and they don't stop there. I listed this guitar once I got it back, and no one wanted it. Your boy took a $200 loss on this, and I counted this as my second fail of this challenge. So one more to go, and we were calling it quits. Next, I switched gears and I bought this Sonance outdoor patio speaker set for 600 bucks, and I ended up selling mine for $1,300 within a few days. This made up for the guitar loss, and I, for whatever reason, decided to buy another guitar for 1,500 bucks. It's a Gibson J45, actually my dream guitar. Maybe let emotions get in the way on this one, but I listed it on Reverb, which is like eBay for instruments, and it sold for $2,099. We were back and making good profits. The next flip was this Serger sewing machine, which came with a bunch of free thread. I spent 600 bucks on it, and the machine sold for almost 1,200, and I sold all the thread locally for 30 bucks. After that, did a quick flip for just a small profit on these moon swatches, bought them for 900, sold them for 1,050, and then we hit a big one. If you guys watch my channel, you know that I love Pokemon cards, especially the older stuff. This guy had a PSA 10 Fossil Lapras first edition for sale for $3K. I ended up talking him down to $2,300 and flipping it on eBay for an almost $400 profit after fees and shipping. Not bad at all. I decided at this point to go back to electronics and found this epic Apple Power Mac for sale for $3K. Obviously, I only had about $2,600, so I had to negotiate a bit. I think I offered like $2K. I knew that wasn't gonna fly, but we landed on $2,300. This thing was an absolute beast. I actually made this video trying to upgrade it, but the RAM that I bought ended up not working with it, so I decided to sell this thing as is. On eBay, they were going for over $3K most of the time, and after a couple price adjustments, I was able to get $3,000 plus shipping, giving us a $500 profit, and bringing our total up to $3,200 bucks. I was feeling pretty good at this point, but I wanted to flip something big, and this is where the title of this video comes into play. If your guys' social media feed is anything like mine, you see this Vukum guy all over the place. Basically, he lives in New York City and flips Rolexes and other high-end watches. His videos are super entertaining, the negotiations are fun to watch. I also bought my Rolex from him, which was cool. But anyways, I thought, how hard can it be? I buy a Rolex for cheap and sell it quick for a little bit more. Easy, fast money. So I started searching on eBay, and I found this Rolex Oyster Perpetual for $3,100. I offered the guy $2,600, then $2,700. He would not budge on his price, but I couldn't get this Rolex out of my head, so I bought it. I got it in the mail and opened it up. 3, 2, 1. Visually, first glance, it looks pretty good. There aren't a ton of scratches or anything. The crystal looks nice. Then I listed it for sale. I tried listing it on Facebook, but unfortunately they took my listing down saying the watch was fake, which it wasn't. So really eBay and then other watch groups are where I tried to flip this thing. I waited, and the watch just wouldn't sell. I even asked Vukum if he was interested, and he said he bought a couple of the same watch for quite a bit cheaper, so unfortunately he passed. This Rolex sat with me for about a month, and that's when I decided to just call it and sell it for what I could, which was $3,000. After fees, fees and shipping, we were back down to $2,500. And since this was my third fail in this challenge, I decided this is where I'd stop. 2,500 bucks, that's honestly pretty good considering I started with a paperclip, not 10 grand, but I was content. So now I thought, what should I do with this money? Alright, so if you're watching this video right when I put it out, it's around the holidays, and something I've always wanted to do is adopt a family for Christmas. This year I decided that with the $2,500 that we made with this challenge, that I would do just that. So I found a family through an organization online. Not to go too much into their situation, but 4 kids, sounds like a single mom, seemed like a perfect fit. But I created this spreadsheet with the help of the mom, basically just an organized Christmas list. And then it was time to go on a shopping spree. One of the boys wanted a Nintendo Switch, so I picked that up first. Then I went to Best Buy and picked up a couple iPads and an Amazon tablet for the little one. After that, went to Walmart, where I filled my cart with art supplies, action figures, science kits, Hot Wheels, board games, and a bunch of other random stuff that was on their list. This was probably the most fun that I've ever had shopping. I usually hate shopping, but it was pretty fun to just grab all this stuff and see the cart pile up. My last stop was Target just for a few more things, and guys, after that, my trunk was loaded. It actually took me almost a full day to get this done. But the next day, I threw on a podcast and spent around 4 hours or so wrapping everything up, and also getting the presents packed into bags so that they'd be ready for drop off. I don't know about you guys, but I actually kind of like wrapping presents. It's just relaxing to me. I'm sure some of you guys can relate. Other of you guys are like, no way. I don't know, I like it. But a few days later came the time to drop off the presents with the mom, and this was fun. Hi, here's everything. I need to text you because I wrapped each kid in different wrapping paper. But yeah, we can load it up and then, yeah. How are you? So, and then one more thing I have for you. I didn't know what to get you,
I didn't expect anything.
I some extra cash for Christmas and stuff. So Merry Christmas. Yes. Merry Christmas. Thank you so much. This was one of the most fulfilling things that I've gotten to do in my life, and I hope I can adopt a family every year now. The mom was also kind enough to send me a couple videos and pictures of the kids opening up their presents, which absolutely made my Christmas.
Yes. How? Wonderful basketball. Find out. Steve, you remember.
That's cool.
I love this.
You love it? Is it awesome?
Yeah.
What is it?
A burger slime. Oh goodness. Sick.
What?
It's an iPad.
You got an iPad?
Yeah.
No way. So you got 2?
Let me see them. Thank you, Steve, for the gifts and Happy New Year's and Merry Christmas.
So yeah, failed the paperclip to 10K challenge, but the journey that this brought me on is one I'll never forget. Maybe we'll try again next year, 2024. Let me know if you guys want to see that. Thank you guys for watching. As always, please be sure to subscribe and hit that like button. Yeah, till next time, peace.